Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video is about my pregnancy experience. Also, I've done a Q&A on my Instagram and I'll be answering the questions at the end of this video. So the first trimester, a lot of people say it's the worst one. For me, it was. You don't really see much changes in yourself, in your body. I didn't really feel that my bump was growing because of how sick I was. I experienced really bad morning sickness, and instead of really my bump getting bigger, my belly was getting flatter. I stopped eating my favourite foods because of how sick I was. Yeah, it was terrible for me. Literally, I was just in bed all the time, and luckily it was all throughout lockdown, so I didn't have to work because I was on furlough. Because I really can't imagine having to experience this while working. I could not focus on work, and secondly, I was sick all the time. Also, I suffered from car sickness. Every time I was in the car, I was sick. Got to points where I had to literally just stop anywhere I can and just be sick. And I remember one time I stopped and the police pulled up, and I think they thought something was going on, and it was actually really funny. The police officer come up to the car, he was actually standing in my sick, and I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant and I was just sick and you're standing in it. He didn't look too impressed. But yeah, I mean, I had to stop wherever, so if it's a double yellow light, I am stopping because I can't hold it no more. Also, I suffered from something that's not really common in pregnancy. It's called erythema nodosum. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. It's red patches, purple patches, or like spot lookalikes on your legs. It's really itchy and painful, and it only happens to 5% of pregnant women, and I was the unlucky 5%. Yeah, they say that it lasts 8 weeks and it doesn't scar. For me, it lasted way longer than 8 weeks. I think it was about 16 weeks because I had it throughout my whole second trimester, and it only started to heal in the third trimester. So the patches started going down. You could still see it, but it wasn't fresh. So obviously it was healing, so it was fading. And it did scar because before I found out what it was, so before I called the doctors about it, I left it for 2 weeks. I just wanted to see if it's going to go down itself, and I was picking on it because it was itching. It had like white little heads, and it had like white little pus coming out of it, so it was really not nice. It didn't look nice either. So when I suffered from it in summer, I remember I was so upset because I had my gender reveal then and I wanted to wear a dress and it was just on show. The second trimester, everything got better. And they say the second trimester, you will love it and it's the best one. And it is. Your bump's growing, you can actually see the difference now. You feel better. With me, I felt so much more active. I actually was okay. I wasn't really sick. I still was put off for foods and I still didn't go and eat everything. I was really cautious of what I eat because I didn't really want to feel sick again because I was so traumatized the first trimester. But I felt much better. It was summertime, so it was hot, so I wasn't out in the sun as much because it did make me really weak. But I was spending more time outside in the fresh air. Also, the only thing I really say I experienced in my second trimester was headaches. I suffered from very bad headaches. And the best thing that happens in the second trimester was baby's movements. I felt my baby movements at 20 weeks. I was actually in Poland, and I was laying down and I just felt like a bubble feeling in my stomach. A lot of people say you wouldn't, as a first-time mum, you wouldn't really know that it's your baby's movements. However, because I was doing research, I knew that from 18 weeks onwards, you can experience baby's movement, which will feel like a bubble feeling, or like butterflies in your stomach. So it was that. As soon as I felt it, I knew it was that. So, but you can miss it. You can actually feel something and you wouldn't think anything of it. Also, obviously your bump's growing. I remember I was keeping up to date with my bump, so I was taking a picture from every month up until the end of my pregnancy, and I would have shared it on here with you guys, but I have a new phone and I forgot to transfer them pictures over. So I'm actually really upset that I don't have memories of how I looked at the beginning and then at the end, because it is amazing how much you change, how much your body's growing, not just your belly but even the changes in your boobs, and overall I started to become really veiny as well. I think my veins started to show more in my second trimester. My veins were coming out everywhere. I even had pictures of that. Lastly, the third trimester, which they say it gets a little harder again. Some people's morning sickness comes back, and I was praying that mine doesn't come back. I was doing everything I can for it not to come back, and at first it didn't. I remember, I think in the 8th month, certain foods I had made me feel a little bit sick, but I wasn't actually vomiting. I just felt sick and uncomfortable in my stomach. Obviously your bump's getting much bigger, your baby's kicks are getting stronger. You can now actually see them by looking at your belly, even feel them by placing your hand on your belly. Even your partner can experience it, so it's probably nice for them as well to start bonding. But with that, your back can start hurting. Daily tasks may get a little harder. For me, I couldn't bend down and do up my shoelaces, for example, because my belly was getting in the way. However, I would say everyone said I was still quite small. Tiredness for me was a major symptom in my third trimester. I was tired all the time. I couldn't basically sleep at night. I was going to sleep at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and that's because I forced myself to sleep, and I would just want to nap throughout the day all the time. I would get tired when even doing stuff like cleaning the house. I would start getting really sweaty and really out of breath. I had to take regular breaks. Also, in my third trimester, I moved houses. So I moved houses when I was 7 months pregnant. I moved out my mum's house into my own place with my boyfriend, which was really stressful. So now the questions from my Instagram, some of them are birth related, so I will be answering them in my birth vlog. So I only answer the questions that are pregnancy related, and I think there's some questions that's just related overall to just having a baby. I'll answer them here as well. So the first question was, did you have any craves during pregnancy? Yes. So firstly, I started craving grapefruits. I was eating 1-2 grapefruits a day without fail. Then I started to crave popcorn, which was really weird. I don't know why I craved popcorn. And then towards the end of my pregnancy, I was craving hummus and carrots. Question, did you stop liking things you usually eat during pregnancy? Yes, I started to come off fish. I stopped eating eggs, mac and cheese because it made me sick and I was really traumatized. And there's one place that I really love. It's steak and rice from True Flavours in South London. That was like my favourite thing to eat. Like every week I would crave True Flavours. I had that in my first trimester, which wasn't a good idea because I was sick all the time, and it made me sick. And because it was steak, obviously it's hard meat, it really wasn't nice when I was being sick. So I really got traumatized and I really come off of True Flavours. I didn't eat it throughout my whole pregnancy. Even when I felt better, with all the stuff that I stopped eating, I didn't eat it until I gave birth, only because of how I felt. I didn't want to risk it and feel like that again. Even in my third trimester, when I was perfectly fine, I started to eat everything. I just didn't want to risk it. Were you scared to have a baby? Yes and no. Obviously, it can be quite scary, especially as a first time mum. You don't know what you're going in for, and a lot of people say their opinions. With me, at first, I was a bit like, oh my God, I know I don't have the right job, or I don't have my own place. It's not the right time. But then again, it's never really the right time to have a baby. The best thing is for it to just happen, and then you just have to do what it takes. Everything I do is for my baby. I have a lot of plans for the future, for what I want to do. As long as obviously the lockdown finishes and my baby gives me a break, because right now she's so attached to me, then I'll be able to do what I have in mind. And then why I wasn't scared was because I love babies, I love kids, and I knew that looking after a baby, I will be able to do it. I've always been a kind of person that knew how to do it. And when you have a baby, you're automatically, you know what to do. You know your own baby the best. You can't let anyone tell you different, because you know your baby the best. And you naturally know what to do with your baby. It just happens naturally. Obviously there is things you learn, and I still learn things every day. I learned a lot at the hospital from the midwives. They tell you a lot of things, but then you'll come home and you'll probably do what you think is best. How do you feel about posting your daughter on social media as she's so young? Honestly, before obviously giving birth, I was against it totally. I said to all my friends, I just made it clear that my baby is not going to be posted. I made a new Instagram, made a new Snapchat that was really private. And yeah, me and my boyfriend wasn't going to post it. But when I had her, I realised that there's so many opportunities for her out there. Modelling careers and stuff like that. And you realise that if you have it on private, you're not really going to get much out of it, because all these companies won't see your baby. So I had to put her account on open, which then obviously means anyone can see her pictures. So I just decided that I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to post her. At the end of the day, there is going to be people who don't like me or whatever the problem is that see her, and at the end of the day, there's nothing that anyone can say or think in the head, or even an evil eye or whatever. You can't affect me or my child. I mean, I'm religious, I believe in God, and I think God's the only person that can judge anyone anyway. Did you have severe symptoms? My severe symptom was morning sickness. Which trimester would you say was your worst? My first, for sure. I hated the first trimester. I was literally crying. Oh, it dragged as well, because my second and my third trimester went really quick, but the first trimester dragged. So the last question, was there anything you were particularly worried about in regards to becoming a mum? Not exactly. The only thing I was worried about was the fact that I was having a baby in the pandemic. Didn't know what it's going to be like, didn't know if it's going to get better, and it hasn't got better. Obviously stuff were a bit different, so it could have been a bit tricky. Also, one thing I'm really scared about, it's still obviously going to be years away, but children are growing, and I know there's going to come a time where my child's going to go out by herself. She's going to walk to school by herself, she's going to have friends, and we're living in times right now where you experience a lot of fake people. You have a lot of knife crime, postcode wars, all this social media stuff. There's so much to mention, and I'm just worried about her safety, but it's still a while away, so I'm gonna enjoy her being my little baby, relying on me for now. So I'm going to be doing another video soon about my birth experience, which I'm really excited about. It's probably going to be my favourite video because there's so much I want to say. There's going to be some funny parts about it as well. So yeah, and I'm considering bringing my daughter in a video as well. If you have any more questions, birth related or any other questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching, and like, comment and subscribe.